supercharger whine. It doesn't get any better than that. Not to this point, not in my life. Welcome back to another Tech Junkie video. Today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of TRX ownership. I've had the truck for about a week now, a little over a week. I wanted to wait at least a week before I made this video. That way that first week of ownership is in the books. I could truly gauge all the negatives and positives about owning the truck. And that initial shock and glee of picking up the truck had worn off. Now I'm going to go into this review unbiased, completely unbiased, completely open and honest about what I like and dislike about the truck and whether or not it's worth spending the money required to own this truck. Now, I'm always more critical of the things that I love, so sometimes when I'm reviewing something it comes across as negative when it's not intended to be that way. I'm far more critical of things I love than things I don't like. If I don't like something, I just don't use it. So I'm more critical of the things that I love so that I can give an honest opinion of it. Now, the first thing I noticed right off the bat is this truck is horrible on gas. I mentioned that in a previous video. Now, when you buy a truck like this, gas mileage is not the first thing you think of. And I didn't. I completely ignored that part of the buying process. I know that the Hellcat Challenger and Charger get 13 to 14 miles to the gallon. I assumed that the truck got around the same. But no, the truck gets 10 miles to the gallon in the city, 14 on the highway. Now, I don't travel on the highway very often, so I'm going to struggle to find that 14 miles to the gallon in this truck. Right now, I'm averaging 9.7 miles to the gallon for... So far, we've spent about $150 in gas, plus the full tank the dealership gives you when you pick up the truck. So needless to say, gas mileage is definitely a factor. Now, this is my daily driver. I gave up my truck and my Charger to get this truck, so this is officially my daily driver. I live 9 or 10 miles from where I work, so I put at least 20 miles a day on the truck if I don't go anywhere else. If you factor in 10 miles to the gallon and you drive 10 miles one way, you're going to put at least 2 gallons of gas in this truck every single day. And gas prices are quickly going up, so right now gas is around $2.60 a gallon here. Hopefully they don't go up any further. Now, $2.60 a gallon is for 87, and this truck requires 93, so that price goes up even higher. So we'll see how gas prices affect my love of this truck going forward. It's not enough to deter me at the moment. The second negative that I've encountered with this truck is going to the bank. Now, most people don't have to go to the bank every day, but because I'm a business owner, I have to go to the bank every day. 7 days a week, I have to go make deposits. There are 3 banks within a few miles of my store that I can go to. The 2 banks that are closest to my location, I can't fit the truck through the drive-thru. I tried, I was able to get through, but the fit is so tight that I'd risk rubbing my tires and wheels on the way out. I actually did catch my wheel on the right side coming out of the drive-thru the only time that I attempted it, and I'm not doing it again because luckily I didn't catch my wheel, but next time I might not be so lucky. There's a third location where the ATM does not have a second wall on the right hand side of the truck, so I can pull up to the ATM, but it sits a little lower and I have to open the door and lean out of the truck in order to get to the ATM. Now that's not a big deal, and that's what I've been doing. The only other option I have is to get out of my truck and walk over to the ATM after I park. And that's just not something that I want to do at night when I go to the ATM. I close my shop at 8 o'clock and I don't want to leave and be at the ATM at 8:15 and at pitch black dark. And I'll park and walk over to the ATM to make my nightly deposit. So that's why the ATM is becoming such a pain. It is a daily part of my life and I have to factor that in when talking about the truck. Now, my Ram 1500 Bighorn was not nearly as tall or as wide, so I could easily fit that through the drive-thru and make my deposits. This is a much bigger truck, so that is factored into the negatives. And like I said, this is not something that's going to affect most people. It affects me, so I'm talking about it. That's the number 2 thing that I found that's negative about this truck. All right, so putting the cart in is easy enough. Bed. the money slot is way down there. And I can't reach it. And I can't reach it without opening the door. Now, if I open the door, I risk dinging it. If I go park and walk up here, I risk getting robbed. So it's like, what am I gonna do? So in this situation, I just open the door and hope I don't ding it, because I don't want to get robbed. So that's just what we do now. Never had those issues before, but it's minor anyway, so who cares? The third thing, people are going to test you. I don't care if they drive a Mustang, a Challenger, a Charger, a Lambo, whatever it may be, a Toyota Corolla. I've even had people pull up to me in a Toyota Corolla and rev the engine and try to test you at the light. It doesn't matter what they drive, they're going to test you, so be prepared for it. Now, if you're the type that wants to take off and show somebody up, by all means, but you know, my kids are normally with me. I'm not racing anybody at a stoplight. I love this truck, I love the power of this truck, but don't test me at the stoplight. It's a minor thing. I've owned 4 different Challengers and 2 different Chargers. I'm used to people testing me at the stoplight. I don't bite. I'm not racing you. My kids are in the car. Piss off. And the last negative thing I can say about this truck, and this is the very last thing, and it's quick, insurance rate. Insurance on this truck is $254 per month in addition to the car payment. That's relatively high considering my Ram 1500 Bighorn was half of that, but I'm not complaining about the insurance. I knew that going in. I just wanted to make sure that I covered all of my bases when it come to this review. I wanted to make it as open and honest as I possibly could, because that's what this is about. Now that the negativity's out of the way, let's talk about the good stuff. There's far more to love about this truck than not to like about this truck. So, the first thing is, obviously, it's fun to drive. I've never driven a Hellcat Charger or Challenger before. I always wanted to wait until it was my turn to own one before I drove one. That's just me. I'm not a big window shopper. I don't look at something before I have an opportunity to buy it. I don't want to get used to that feeling of having it and then not having it. So I refused to drive a Hellcat Charger or Challenger until it was my turn to buy one. Now, I could have bought one of those instead of this truck, but I have a boat, so I need to be able to haul my boat. When the Hellcat truck became available, and that's essentially what it is, it's not branded Hellcat truck, but it is a Hellcat truck. I had to have one. There's just no way around it. It's so much fun to drive, and it's far outweighed any expectations I could have had for this truck. There's not a single thing on my list of negatives about this truck that could outweigh how fun this truck is to drive. Now, the second thing on my list of things is it's the meanest looking truck on the street. Now, I went with the all black spec. I love the all black spec. I don't like the beadlock wheels on most of the other ones that I've seen, where you have the grayish silver looking ring around the wheels. The wheels need to be all black, and the truck looks way meaner with the all black wheels. I felt, in my opinion, that the truck looked a little goofy with the beadlock ring around the wheels. Now, if you take that away, no matter what color the truck is, the truck looks 100% better. I liked the all black spec. It looks so mean, and I love it. Black is my favorite color. The majority of things that I own are black. My clothes are black. Most of the vehicles that I've owned were black or gray or silver. I love it. It's the meanest looking truck on the street. The Raptor and the Chevy Silverado and whatever the hell GMC calls their truck, they don't compete. This is the meanest looking truck on the street by far. That's just the end of it, in my opinion. The next thing I like about this truck, I have kids. I have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and 2 teenage girls. Now, we're not all in the same car at the same time much of the time. So it's usually me and the boys and Jess. The girls, you know, they're teenagers. They want to do their own thing. So we're not all in the car at the same time most of the time. So it's usually just me and Jess and the boys, because the girls have their own lives. They do their own thing. Because you have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, they're really messy. And so I didn't want anything with cloth seats. The interior of this truck is very easy to clean. I have all-weather floor mats. The seats have a material that's very easy to clean as well. It's just perfect for me. Black and red, I love the combination. I love the 12-inch nav screen. Apple CarPlay is here. Anything that I could have wanted in this truck, I got for the most part. There are a few things that are missing that I don't have that I had in my Charger, but I'm not complaining. Those are things that I could easily overlook. None of those things were a reason for me not to buy this truck. So I've gotten to the point in this video where there's only one thing left that I want to talk about that I love about this truck, and that's the supercharger whine. Ever since I saw the first Hellcat teaser video back in 2015, maybe it was at the end of 2015, whenever they released that teaser trailer where you didn't even get to see all of the car, and you hear that supercharger whine, I wanted one of those cars, and I wanted that supercharger whine in my life. Every time I hear that supercharger kick in, it just makes me smile. I'm 39 years old, and I'm like a 15-year-old kid taking driver's ed for the first time and smiling because you finally have that power behind the steering wheel, the ability to hit the gas and the car goes, and it brings me back to my teenage years, and I love it. The supercharger whine, it's like unwrapping a Christmas present every time you touch the gas in this truck. And that's all I can say about it, and that's 100% honest. It seems like such a minor thing to be so excited about, but I get giddy every time I touch the gas and that supercharger kicks in. It just is. That's just a plain and simple fact. In the end, the point of one of these reviews is to say whether or not it was worth it to buy the truck. So with all of the negatives and all of the positives, was it worth it to buy this truck? You're damn right it was. You're damn right. Now, we have plenty of content planned for this truck. It's been rainy here lately, so there's a lot of things that we want to do with this truck that we haven't been able to do yet. I'm hoping that we get some clear weather here in the next few days, because we have, like I said, we have some things coming for this truck. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see what we do with this truck, and hit the notification bell so that you get updated whenever we post a new video. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy. Supercharger whine.